let's get to it. It's time for round number 12 here at GP Birmingham. More Legacy coming your way. Let's head down to the feature match. What's up, nerds? Thanks for joining us at MTG Red Zone. My name's Riley Knight, joined by the Pro Tour Hall of Famer Rafael Levy, Andrea Chibak, and Lucas Muller are your round 11 feature match players. These guys at 10 and 1, round 12 feature match players, 10 and 1. Both these players only having picked up a loss, and they've dodged the feature match so far here. But right now, Raf, we brought them right back in here. We're going to see what these guys are up to.
So Turbo Depth on Ricardo's side. Turbo Depth is the deck that won last week the Eternal Weekend.
Okay.
In the hands of Vladimir Arnev.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the last winning deck, pretty much, in the records.
So it's got a good pedigree coming into this Legacy tournament. Stefan Schutz, on the other hand, Storm. We haven't seen an abundance of combo decks throughout the weekend, but Schutz is going up. Doesn't even need a land to do it. Look at this.
Look at this.
Petal, Ritual.
In the dark. Just going off in the dark.
This isn't something we see very often, but there you see the win condition.
So 5 mana
of Storm. It is Tendrils of Agony, and now a Dark Petition, and of course with Spell Mastery active. So Schutz is going to have 3 mana remaining in his pool at the end of it. And are we going to see the elusive turn 1 kill here, Raph?
Well, it could be.
It's unusual for a Storm player to attempt to go off unless they've got it.
Yeah, I don't think he went for land here.
I don't think going Lotus Petal, Ritual, Dark Petition,
land go.
That's
not great.
Probably just mulligan is an easy way to find that land that you need. But let's see what Schutz can pull together here.
I'd no see him.
So here's a Cabal Ritual now. Storm count at 5, up to 4 mana. And another Cabal Ritual. No threshold enabled here.
When you need them.
And Bea is
never have them.
In a bunch of trouble here on 20 life. Schutz is going to resolve an Ad Nauseam, and this is going to spell trouble here for Bea, who just doesn't have anything to say about it. No Force of Wills in sight. So Ad Nauseam, those of you who have played any amount of Modern will be aware of what this card does. 5 mana, instant. You can exile cards from the top of your library as many times as you want. You lose life equal to their converted mana cost, and you can stop basically at any time. So we're going to see Schutz here just absolutely churn through his deck. Raph, you're keeping track of things.
8.
Now we're up to about 8 life, that's right.
9.
And you can see so far this is what, 11 cards?
Yeah, he needs Lotus Petal.
And he hasn't played a land yet. Infernal Tutor
right.
as well.
That's right. He hasn't played land. So he doesn't actually need that.
Still with that land drop in hand, but he looked to have a pretty solid 7 there, Raph.
So he needs to play land, Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual would be 5 mana. He just needs 6 mana to play... he needs a way to discard his hand as well. So, that's fine. Because he needed...
just needed that LED.
Yeah.
And there it is, off the top, Lion's Eye Diamond.
To discard his hand to...
for Infernal Tutor.
Yep.
So here we go. Schutz should have it from here. The combo between Infernal Tutor and Lion's Eye Diamond. The key interaction in turning Infernal Tutor into Demonic Tutor. Here's a Gataxian Probe, casts 2 life.
I think he could scoop right there.
Bea,
very nice play by Ricardo.
Yep. Really good stuff. Tell us why that was the right play there, Raph.
Because then Stefan does not know what Ricardo's playing. He had the one thing to do, scoop at the right time.
Yep. Ricardo Bea, it's
lost.
Not usual. It's not. I think it's very, very unusual, ladies and gentlemen, to see someone play a game of Legacy perfectly without having made any mistakes.
Yeah.
But Ricardo Bea has just navigated an entire game of Legacy having played flawlessly.
Perfectly, 100%.
100% poor. It's unfortunate that it ended up with him losing.
Well, sometimes you lose when you play perfect.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do, Raph.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this decision here. So Schutz was how close to 100% to winning there?
About, I don't know, it was probably 90-something. Like, it was pretty close.
98, 99?
I guess if the last 5 cards of his deck are Tendrils and 4 Lion's Eye Diamond, then he probably loses.
But it's so tight. Like the chance is so small here.
It's close to 0. It's very close to 0 to lose the game.
That it's a much better bet here for Bea to instead concede,
Yeah.
not show his opponent what he's playing. Remember, he hasn't
Oh,
played
no,
a
no.
single card.
At that point, he was dead. At that point.
Oh,
he
sorry.
was,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
At that
yeah,
point,
oh, no. At that point, he was.
at that point,
dead.
is it actually 100%?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Unless he
a meteor hits the table.
like kept his tendrils in the sideboard and made a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the only way he could have won.
But in that situation there, Bayer, rather than giving up any information, rather than show his opponent how he should be sideboarding, so Schutz, in this situation, he doesn't have a great idea of what to bring. He may sort of be able to vibe out that his opponent may not be playing Force of Will, maybe on a non-Force of Will deck, things he didn't have it. But then again, I mean, that's also, there's a non-zero chance that his opponent, I mean, could be playing anything, really.
He could just bring in the basic, usual anti-hate cards.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe an Abrupt Decay, or just one for good measure. But that's it. You don't want to sideboard too much anyway.
So going into game number 2, Bayer does have a distinct advantage over Schutz in the fact that he can and will sideboard with a lot more information here. And, I mean, that's good stuff. You've got to make the best of a bad situation. Yeah. When life gives you lemons...
You take lemons.
Or just burn down the lemon tree and invent a combustible lemon and burn down someone's house with it. In any case, let's have a look at the standings here for round number 12. Or at the end of round number 11, I should say. And Lucas Muller, the only player remaining on 33 points here, undefeated so far. Oh, I guess Peter van der Ham picking up a draw there, also undefeated. But the perfect record going to Lucas Miller. And as we continue through the standings here, Gregor Kowalski, a GP champion as well. And Gary Campbell, the godfather of Scottish Magic, in addition to Tia Rizzi, also on 27 points. Those three there, hustling and bustling with the best of them. We continue on now through the standings here, and Andrew Rayner also flying the Scottish flag there, you can see that, and Jonathan Angelescu, a legacy specialist, a legacy god on Magic Online.
With Summersberger as well.
Say again?
Helmut Summersberger.
We've also got Marco De Togni as well, another Italian superstar here. So plenty of names kicking around the top tables there. And we'll see how things go now as we continue through our brief tour of the standings after round number 11. Plenty of people to keep an eye on here, Raf, as we close things out.
So 51 players in contention, pretty much.
For top 8.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some of them not really in contention because the tiebreakers is going to play against them.
Keep a close eye on how things shake out as we head towards the top 8 here. But our feature matches players are shuffling up, getting ready for game number 2. Talk to me about this Turbo Depths deck. We haven't seen a lot of it. Again, Dark Depths is a card that has seen a lot of play in Legacy. What's the Turbo aspect of it?
So you try to have the Merit Lage as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So in contrast with Control Depth, pretty much, where it's not as fast. You don't play the fast mana.
So the Simian Spirit Guides or the Elvish Spirit Guides.
Elvish Spirit Guide, yeah.
And that'll differentiate it from other Dark Depths decks or Lands decks that we've seen here. The Turbo Depths kind of goes all in on that plan. Still plays the classic Thespian stage, crop rotation, all of that sort of thing.
Mage.
But certainly a little bit more of a glass cannon deck. So really we are just two wizards chucking lightning bolts at each other and hoping that one of them sticks here, because there's no clerics or fighters at the front of the party to soak up all the damage here. So we'll see how things pan out. Now looks like Bayer's going down to 6. That's not great for him. Schutz seems to be happy with his starting 7. I mean, he's sitting pretty. Turn one Storm kill, easy game.
On the play. That's the dream.
And Bayer looking a little bit morose here. Perhaps that's just his poker face. We'll see. Hopefully he gets 6 of the best from the headmaster here and is able to...
8 minutes and you gotta feel good.
Yeah. I mean, I think we spend more time mulliganing and shuffling than actually playing Magic so far. That was a very quick kill from Schutz there. And his shuffling concluded. We'll see what Bayer can find off the top of his library here. 3 cards, 6 cards. And Schutz going, yes, well done. Well counted. All the way to 6. Let's see what he's looking at here. He's going to scry. So the 6 he's found, he's happy with. Plops that one on top. That's a good sign for him. And we're off to the races now. Game number 2. Bayer got to make up the difference after having gone down in game number 1 to Stefan Schutz. The perfect turn 1 kill there. Easy game, easy life, and let's have a look at
Duress.
what's going on with this duress. So, probe, Bayou, Brainstorm, Cabal Ritual, and a Lotus Petal.
Huh. Would you take Lotus Petal here? That's a tough one. Because he has 3 extra draws from the probes.
Yeah, it's not a great hand
It's-
to see with the duress.
It's a great hit against Duress.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Because everything, all the business is on top.
and this is something that we see in Legacy a lot. The cards on top of the library, almost as important as the ones in hands in graveyards, due to cards like Brainstorm
Mhm.
and Ponder and whatnot. You are able to protect key cards from discard effects by plopping them on top of your library, or just being able to access them with something like a Taxian Probe, free draw spell. This hasn't given too much away for Schutz here. He still may not know what he's up against. There's always the chance that he's seen Bayer playing throughout the tournament and knows what he's up against here, but Swamp Duress doesn't give too much away.
It's hard to know what to. Yeah, Lotus Petal. That was my initial thoughts. I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing, but it's seems okay.
It provides the most unique effect, right?
Yeah.
So now, Schutz is going to see what's going on, and
Ooh,
the jig is
Thorn of
up.
Amethyst.
Thorn of Amethyst. Check that one
Yeah,
out.
that's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good way to stop Storm.
Yeah, there's
And
no
that's
way.
why that's also a good reason to take out the Lotus Petal.
There's no way that that Schutz can go off through a Thorn of Amethyst.
And that's why in the dark you bring in the Abrupt Decays.
Yeah, yeah, because it's an answer to their answers,
Yeah.
right? You don't main deck it because you're not expecting to play against Thorn of Amethyst in game number 1 or whatever hate permanent they bring
Mhm.
in. But Abrupt Decay deals with everything from
Yeah.
Eidolon of Rhetoric, Thorn of Amethyst, Aethersworn Canonist. Deals with them real nice. Here's another Gataxian Probe now for Schutz. He's down to 16.
And the life lost from the probe is not actually very relevant against Depth, because Depth wants to one-shot you with a 20 power attack.
Another 2 here for Schutz now, down to 14 after this third Gataxian Probe. He's drawn an Empty the Warren's Wrath.
Oh, no. He drew Cabal Therapy.
But he has drawn an Empty the Warrens this turn.
Yeah, but the most important card is Cabal Therapy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because he can name that
And
Thorn of Amethyst.
now
Yeah.
there's nothing left in Ricardo's hand. We have our friend and coverage fellow coverage person,
Mm.
Olorada, the Sylvan Safekeeper.
Oh, he's hanging out there riding his spider.
Yeah, that's the
That flowing mane of Swedish hair.
yeah. The Littlest Viking. I think that was his nickname back in the days.
The which one? The littlest Viking.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a small fella, but I tell you what, he hits hard when he's on that spider. Look at him go.
Do you know which spider it is?
Giant spider?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think it's a giant trapdoor spider.
all right.
Played in his PT Columbus 97 winning deck.
I will take your word for it, my friend.
Yeah. You can.
How could someone so small cause so much trouble?
Yeah, that's a Littlest Viking.
Here's a Vampire Hexmage. And back to Schutz now. On a 7-turn clock, thanks to this 2-1 first striker.
Yeah, but this is trouble now for Ricardo.
Well,
It's full grip on Stefan's side.
doesn't Bayer have the Dark Depths in hand?
No, it doesn't have the land. Oh, here we go.
He did have it in hand. So easy game here for Bayer. Vampire Hexmage sacrifice, remove all permanents, so all counters from target permanent.
So he didn't have the second land to try to go off. Stefan did not have the land, so
And a
Thoughtseize
Thoughtseize now as well. Bayer
back
has
it up.
rallied magnificently here. And he could take his pick of the bunch here. His pick of the litter from this hand of Schutz. Who has very little going on.
So what do you take here?
So still got that Tendrils, Empty the Warrens, LED, Cabal Ritual, Brainstorm, which you can't cast off the Bayou.
So empty the Warrens, I guess he can leave because they won't be blocking Merit Ledge.
No, flying
Uh,
indestructible.
maybe one of the... Maybe the Tendrils? No, I don't know if Tendrils... It's a good option here.
I mean, does it matter?
What do you mean? What the card he takes?
Yeah.
I
He's
think
going to slam with a 20/20 next turn, man.
But he's giving a turn. Like now he wants to make sure he doesn't die next turn. He's gonna leave a card in the graveyard, so that's also relevant for Cabal Ritual. If he draws, for example,
Take the Brainstorm then, right?
yeah, Brainstorm's probably
Take the Brainstorm in case he draws a blue source. Otherwise, he just leaves his hand with a hand of Stone Cold Blankskis. Because then if he draws a blue source, he doesn't have anything to cast with it. And if he draws a Brainstorm, he can't cast it.
Yeah, I guess. Like, what can he draw? That's the thing. I'm trying to figure out what he can draw.
I mean, LED, really?
If he draws a blue source, he can't actually get out of this. Yeah, Brainstorm is the card to take.
Brainstorm, take the card.
Because if he draws a blue source, he can Brainstorm into Lotus Petal and Ad Nauseam, and then go off.
Sylvan Safekeeper now as well, just to...
Yep. Now he has outs to win. Like if he draws a... Yeah, he needs a blue source.
So Schutz now, had that Brainstorm been taken, I don't think there's a single card in his deck that would get him out of this. But as it is now, they are waiting for that 20/20 indestructible Merit Large token.
The best card would actually be...
And there it is.
Yeah, well...
Schutz off the top finds a probe.
That's actually pretty good to start with, because now he has a threshold.
Okay, so now those rituals are being turned on, but can't find what he needs. And Ricardo Bea, after a wobbly old start there with a mulligan to 6, manages to actually pull it together.
It was a good draw.
It was a great draw.
Vampire Hexmage.
The Vampire Hexmage was obviously key in removing all those counters there, but Bea's deck lived up to its name. Turbo Depths, Merit Large on turn 3, and Bea overcome with joy. He can't believe it. Look at that smile on his face. Schutz rather more reserved about the result here.
Do you know that Merit Lage appears on one of the cards of Dominaria?
Really?
Yeah, it does.
Which one?
In an art, yeah. Yeah, good answer from Steve.
Well, the audience didn't hear that. I mean, do you want to share with the card?
Yeah, it's Time of Ice.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not notice that.
Yeah, Time of Ice. There's the story of the Ice Age and Merit Lage trapped in the ice.
All right, good spot for it to be, but obviously let loose there, let off the leash by Ricardo Bea. Now we've got Steven Schutz's deck here. We can have a look at what's going on in his sideboard. We saw that Empty the Warrens that was brought in, 3 copies of Abrupt Decay as well. A lot of interaction coming out of the sideboard of the Storm play here, including a card that's going to be key in this matchup, Caracas.
I had to bring to return Merit Lage
from whence she came.
Yeah.
Yep.
To the hand.
It's
not exactly what she came, because she came from the ice, not from the hand.
So I guess into the ether. Just she goes poof
to the
advantages in a puff of logic.
Oh, the limbos, you know.
That's it. Yep, into limbo.
Do you know that was a term used in Magic, limbo?
No, was that what? Was that for the exile zone before it existed?
No, limbo was actually the stack before it was the stack. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
You cast the spell, it's in limbo.
It was in limbo.
Yeah, before it resolved, the spell was in limbo.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, before it became the stack. Yeah.
A little history lesson with Grandpa
Raph.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
There you go.
The fireplace is cracking with
Yep. Come and sit around the fire and let Grandpa Raph regale you with another tale of the ancient history of magic. Pretend to be interested, ladies and gentlemen, because he it makes him makes him feel like the 20 years of collected magic knowledge is.
You're gonna fall asleep on the bear.
On the bearskin rug?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad we got that one sorted out as well. Couple of other options here for Schutz. Chain of Vapor, Echoing Truth as well, some other bounce spells. Fatal Push isn't going to play a huge role in this matchup. Fluster Storm, Abrupt Decay, Ground Seal, and that copy of Caracas, as we mentioned.
And I think he's just going to bring in...
now he's got a better idea,
Disruption for Thorn of Amethyst.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Caracas is... Like, Caracas is probably fine.
Isn't this what it's in the deck for? What
I
else
think
do
it's
you
for
need?
Emrakul.
Oh, that's also true, yeah. It's something like Sneak and Show. Yeah.
Your Sylvan Safekeeper could just, that's another card to add to the combo, but it also saves the...
Yeah, from the Caracas. All right. Got a lot of utility. That Caracas played in Death and Taxes, obviously, as a way to bounce some of their own legendary permanents as well. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the
Thalia.
old Thalia. Yep, protect that from a removal spell. Mangara of Condor as well.
Combo.
I don't know if that sees much play anymore, but that used to be pretty ferocious.
General Jarkeld.
Hmm?
No, this one's not played. That was the first mono white legend. Not very good, but
No.
General Jarkeld.
General Jerkeld.
Jarkeld.
Jerkeld,
No, it was
Jerkeld.
not the original one. It was in the Ice Age.
Jerkerd.
Yeah, it was not a very good card.
No.
There's a 4-mana 2/2. You could switch blockers when you tapped it. It was just a terrible card.
Man, there's some weird cards back in the days.
General
Oh, there it is. Look,
Oh,
Jerkerd.
1/2.
Little 1-2 there.
Yeah, you don't play that in Death in Texas. All right, but back to this this matchup.
I mean, we can keep talking about ancient legends that no one remembers anymore if you'd like.
But it's getting 4-mana 1/2. It's a pretty good card. All right, so Storm on the play.
Does make a big difference in these combo-rific matchups. Let's have a look at what Ricardo Bay is working with. He's kept 6-7 this time. So we have
Double
Urborg.
duress.
We have Thespian Stage. Looks like an expedition map as well there.
That's
Wasteland. 2 copies of... is that a Wasteland? That looks like the Judge...
no what? Where?
The Judge Promo Wasteland right in the
No,
middle?
no.
No? Double GRS and another Urborg.
This Thespian Stage
No, right in the middle.
in the middle. That's the Verdant Catacomb.
Is that a Verdant Catacombs? Okay. All right. I was just looking at a Judge Promo Wasteland at the prize wall, so maybe I've got Judge Foil Wastelands on the brain.
So we could have a turn 3 Merit Ledge, but I think he will want to duress on turn 1.
Mhm.
So that might not be a turn 3. That would be a turn 4 kill, and that's not great with Urborg.
I think the double GRS. I think you want to
Yeah.
disrupt as much as possible, right?
So it would be a turn 5 kill on for what looks like a turn 5 kill, which is a little slow, but double duress.
Sometimes GRS can be exactly what you need here, but it looks like Schutz, if he's got a Cabal Therapy, that's going to really be backbreaking for this double GRS hand for Bayer.
You think he's gonna aim for a duress?
It's just a straight up 2-for-1, right?
Well, if he
Ponder.
but yeah,
Ponder instead here.
he probed, so he knows about the duress.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So 3 cards off the top here for Schutz. No Cabal Therapy to be seen just yet. Double Probe, another mystery card in the middle there. Didn't get a good look at
That
that.
was a Cabal Therapy.
What
A Cabal Ritual.
Cabal Ritual in the middle there. So let's see now. Will Stefan Schutz shuffle? Nope, going to draw the probe. Okay.
Just to make sure he's the right cards.
Keeps the Cabal Ritual on the top of his library. Takes a
Protecting it.
great way for him to enable Threshold. But here is a duress now from Bayer. Schutz obviously confident he can play through these duresses. He saw 2 of them. And he's going to have to...
Thoughtseize.
And a Thoughtseize as well. So 3 discard spells for Ricardo Bayer. He's going to tear Schutz's hand to shreds here. And here we see Probe, a couple of fetch lands, Brainstorm, Dark Ritual, and an Ad Nauseam.
Duress is always going to hit.
So-
Doesn't matter if there's a Brainstorm. The Storm player has to play his cards, unless it's Ad Nauseam. That's like this one card that could make up so many cards.
Yeah. So you just take the Ad Nauseam here with Thoughtseize? Or are we going to look to maybe
Yeah, I think
pile
so.
on the pressure with something something a little bit lower?
I think so. Like if he doesn't, then he's isn't Stefan going off next turn? Does he have enough cards in his graveyard? So it's 3 cards plus
Plus
let's
1
say-
Gitaxian Probe, another one on the top.
Yeah. No, I think he goes off next turn if
And
he
a fetch land.
if he doesn't discard the Anosium. Because there's a Cabal Therapy on top.
Cabal
So it
Ritual.
would have a Cabal Ritual, sorry. Cabal Ritual on top. So it would be 4 cards with the card discarded from Thoughtseize. Double probes.
Mhm.
So that would be 6 cards plus the fetch land 7. Cabal Ritual would provide 5 mana. He would be able to cast Ad Nauseam.
I think you just have to dump the Ad Nauseam.
Yeah, he has.
You have to.
He has to.
You have to.
Otherwise, he's
Oh, no.
he's dead.
Oh, no.
He might
So
be dead.
Bayer here doesn't know about the Cabal Ritual on top of the library. In his defense.
That's true. The thing that could save Ricardo is that since he's going to double probe, he's not going to have access to as many cards as he wanted.
Ah, yes, off the Ad Nauseam.
So he only starts Ad Nauseam at 13 life.
yeah, which
No,
is...
actually at 12 because he's going to fetch.
Now, Schutz does know the contents of Bayer's hand already.
Yep, don't care. Yeah, whatever.
Whatever, man.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever.
Play this card, yeah, whatever.
Don't need to see that. Schutz in a position now to enable Threshold. He wants to draw that Cabal Ritual off that Gitaxian Probe. Down to 15 now.
Yeah, that was...
Draws. Oh, what is it? Ponder. Got that Cabal Ritual ready to fire off.
Oh, and he drew Infernal Tutor. Did he have the Tutor? No, he didn't have the Tutor. Oh, that's not a Tutor. Never
That's
mind.
the
It's
Ad Nauseam.
I thought it was...
They look quite similar.
Yeah.
So Schutz now. Talk us through the sequence here. Fetch land into...
Into Cabal...
Okay. Never mind. Passes the turn. Back to Bayer now, who is going to be able to cast 2 Duresses. I mean,
I guess
Schutz
he can hide them. He can hide the Ritual and the Cabal Ritual and the Ad Nauseam on top of the deck.
Yeah.
But did he need another land?
It's a funny old thing.
Yeah, maybe he didn't feel confident in winning with 12 life. Maybe there was... I don't know, that felt...
His Ad Nauseam isn't going to be enough there to get him enough cards, you think, with 12 or 13. Or 12 after the fetch, of course, yeah. So Bayer now can just double Duress. I don't see any reason not to do that.
It felt good enough for me. I don't know. He probably knows better.
All right, here we go. Bayer, Duress you.
The Thespian stage.
Crack?
Yep.
Says Schutz.
Oh, he wants to do it in response.
Well, I mean, that was the other thing that can happen,
Yeah.
of course, is
Yeah.
that this...
Ad Nauseam in response?
This Storm deck can go off at instant speed? Not really, no.
Not really. I don't think so.
No.
Because you can't play LED or Lotus Petal.
So, Schutz can maybe draw a huge, big handful of cards
But why would you do it
to then get duressed.
Why would
Exactly.
you do that during duress? I don't know.
Like, just hide it with the Brainstorm, right?
Yeah. Well, that's his option now, but I don't... Let's see. I'm probably missing something.
Oh, well, this is a curious line here
But yeah.
for Schutz.
So, yeah, he's going to do it in
He's
response.
going to go off. All right. Okay, so Cabal Ritual adds 5,
All right.
which will pay for the Ad Nauseam.
Okay.
And Schutz is now going to have, a lot of cards put in his hand, but then Duress is just going to take the best 2 because there's a second Duress in the hand of Bayer here. Still 0 life. Still 0 life. So lucky. Still 0. Oh, my goodness me. Okay, takes 2 finally.
That would have been an easy win. On his
Had he just gone off, yeah. Yeah, the Storm deck is not able to go off at instant speed. It's not like Ad Nauseam in Modern there. Okay, well...
Yeah, that would have been insta win on his turn.
Schutz here has seen enough. Decided he doesn't need any more here.
Doesn't?
I don't see a tutor.
Well, there's an...
Oh, there is an Infernal Tutor.
There's
All right,
one, but that's the card that's going to be taken.
Sure. And then he's got a second Duress to take whatever else he wants as well.
Maybe a Ponder, the Ponder of the Brainstorm.
So Schutz, if he'd seen the top cards of his library, he would have known that he just instantly goes off and wins. I mean, he's got 10 artifact mana, had 2 lands in play already to cast the Cabal Ritual that we saw there. So unfortunate stuff for Schutz here. He's going to have to hold it together.
Maybe he played around something. I don't know exactly what he wants to play around. Maybe Mindbreak Trap.
I mean, is that really something he's worried about playing
I don't know.
against?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Did he just hit F6 accidentally? Like, did a cat
No,
walk
I
across his
think
keyboard?
he thought about passing. So there must be a reason I'm missing.
Must be a reason. All right. Well, as it is now, Bayer is going to take the
tutor,
Infernal Tutor. That makes sense. Schutz down to 5, so that explains why he stopped. He didn't want to hit that Infernal... it's 5-mana tutor there.
Well, it still has a lot of chances to hit something good. Yeah, another Duress. Yeah, it's going to take the... He knew about this too.
Yeah,
so.
he's seen them. He saw all these cards. Obviously, Urborg allows both of those Duresses to be cast.
So do you take Ponder or do you take Brainstorm here? He has 2 Echoing Truth, so he still has a lot of time.
I mean, that's true. I guess, and the cantrips in hand are going to enable him to, dig closer to the cards that he needs, but still. Let's just hope he didn't only have one shot.
One opportunity.
He didn't miss his time to blow.
Yeah.
What's that on the front of his jumper?
I think it's tomato sauce. Something.
Okay. And now Bayer, after having written his little essay on how many cards are in Schutz's hand, he's going to get to pick one of them to hit the bin.
So ponder or brainstorm?
Probably ponder. You see more cards.
See more cards, yeah.
Ponder lets you see 4 cards if you need to, whereas brainstorm only ever lets you see 3. But it's got to be one of those two, right?
Yeah, I don't see what reason why
Schutz has just
he would take another.
Has
he would
mana
take
for days here. Yeah. And Echoing Truth is also a nice one against any opposing Merit Large token. Doesn't matter if you're indestructible. You still die real nice if you're a token to that Echoing Truth here. Let alone if Bayo is lucky enough to get 2 Merit Large tokens out, then Echoing Truth cleans them both up, Raph.
Yeah, if the legendary rule.
Well, if he has a Hall of Mirrors out, mate, who knows?
Mirror Gallery.
Mirror Gallery, excuse me.
That's pretty good.
That's the latest tech in Turbo Depths decks. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, there's another way to have 2 Merit Lages.
Go on.
With the Helm of the Host.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Even spicier tech.
There's also... Is there something else?
Probably something to do with Jace Cunning Castaway. I don't know. There's some way to do it. I mean, people on Reddit have figured out a way to equip Nicol Bolas with Nicol Bolas, so I'm sure there's some way for it to happen.
The legend rule does not apply.
Like how they have to put it in quotes there. Oh, it's Echoing Truth is picked by the first duress, or the second duress there. And so Schutz now picks up his hand. He's got half a squillion cards in it. So let's see how he's going to proceed from here. It's going to be Brainstorm. 3 cards off the top, as if those cards weren't enough in hand. Let's see what he's got to cook with here. Nope, not going to get a look at them.
Was a Sakashima. What did this guy do? The clone, the 2 blue and 2 legendary clone.
Sure.
Something like this. Maybe he could do that as well. So now Stefan is just looking for a win con, pretty much.
Even if Sakashima the Imposter comes into play, it's still not Merit Large. It's still called Sakashima the Imposter.
Okay, so can it work?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I would protect from the Echoing Truth.
Let's consult the judges.
No. So.
No.
All right.
Seeing big thumbs down there from our panel of judges. Flavor judges, that is. Excuse me. Not game judges. So now, Schutz. Playing at a glacial pace here, it must be said.
After a game 1 that lasted about 6 minutes, a little less.
I'd say I'd take the under on that.
Under?
Yep. I think it was close to about 4, if that even.
Baron Harkonnen giving some advice to Leather
Boy.
Boy. Yeah.
Mohawk Leather Boy. So Schutz now.
Duress.
A duress of his own.
Does he have anything left?
Thorn of Amethyst and an expedition map. Going to be the Thorn. Well, that's a nice quick duress.
Yeah.
In contrast to Bayer's 20-minute duress decisions here.
Well, there were a little few choices.
Yeah, I guess it was like it was 50-50, right? Here's a ponder now from Schutz. 3 cards off the top.
Tendrils should be. I think Tendrils should be game here. We haven't noted down the
storm count.
Not the storm, but the hand he had in the cards he had in hand.
Well, Schutz now.
Oh, he has a Lotus Petal, so it should be game, yeah.
Oh, he's got a Lotus Petal. He's got LEDs. He's got Infernal Tutor still, I think, in hand. Has he found
that's
Can Schutz put together a win?
Yeah, he can. He can play Lotus Petal, play all these LEDs, and
now we see the storm counter coming out.
And fired
Lotus Petal.
Fired Tendrils off the top of his deck.
Up to 4. Lotus Petal up to 5. So you know it's bad news when your opponent is doing this sort of thing.
He's gonna cast his Dark Ritual off a Lotus Petal. He's gonna cast his Ponder of Lotus Petal in response.
Crack the LEDs.
Crack the LEDs to be able to cast the Tendrils off the top of his deck.
Yep. And Ricardo Bayer slumps ever lower in his seat here, as we see now. Ponder. In response. Crack. Discard. Crack. Discard. And leaving 1 LED remaining. It's going to go up to enough mana to then draw off the top. Can he find, Raf?
That's incredible.
Can he find
I can't.
the tendrils? 1, 2, 3 cards off the top. It's there. He put it there, but just before. We knew about it already. And this is going to be enough to knock Ricardo Beyer out of this game and indeed out of this match. So Stefan Schutz, after a long and protracted ordeal, ladies and gentlemen, manages to stitch together a 2-1 victory over Ricardo Beyer. As we welcome you back to the tournament floor here, my friends. My name's Riley. I'm joined by Raphael Levy. And 2 of the combo decks going at it, hammer and tongs. And ultimately, after, again, a very swift Game 1 victory, a bit of a prolonged experience throughout Games 2 and 3 there, Raf.
Game 2 went the other way, but that was very close as well because he didn't have much. Ricardo did not have much.
No, he
game.
rallied magnificently.
He
really did,
Yeah, he pulled it off nicely. And Game 3 was surprisingly good.
Yeah, a lot of meat on those bones, as it turns out. Anyway, my friends, we're going to go to some ads. We'll be back on the other side of this break with more Legacy coming your way. It will be Time Walk Magic. We hope you can join us. We'll see you back here at MTG Red Zone in just a little bit. Welcome back to the tournament floor here at GP Birmingham. My name's Riley. I'm joined by Raf, of course, and we are going to get underway with some Time Walk magic here to round out coverage of round number 12. Time Walk magic, for those of you who haven't seen this before, we have recorded? No, just recorded. We didn't re-record it. Recorded some magic from our round previously, and we're going to show it now with live commentary. So you're not watching a live match of Magic, but you may as well be, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get underway. Jonathan Angelescu here. A legacy all-star on Magic Online, playing against Peter White here. And we are seeing Sneak and Show against Miracles. Not a matchup that we've seen too much this weekend, Raf.
We've seen that matchup like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah, Sneak and Show certainly used to run the tables in Legacy in around, 2013 or so. And today, Miracles looks a little bit different to how it used to, obviously, with no tops. Topless Miracles these days. No tops to be seen. But still got that the good old, Ponderous Determinus as good as ever.
And is he running Predicts?
Might be Predicts. Let's have see if we can hustle through these deck lists here and have a look at what's going on.
Ponder number 2.
So let's see here. Peter White with 9 and 2 with Miracles is playing Monastery Mentor in the main. And
2 Predicts.
2 Predicts. And 3 Portents as well. Portent is a card that people who aren't familiar with Legacy may not have seen before. It essentially is a weird kind of ponder. You can target your opponent with the 3-card ability, but then you draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep, which is it's actually really, really good with something like Terminus, because you can just trigger the Terminus at the beginning of the opponent's upkeep. And as a result, a nice fit. And of course, if you haven't seen the art on Portent, you're missing out.
Is it Richard Kane Ferguson?
It's a Liz Danforth masterpiece here. It's got looks like it's got a little A2E turtle flying through the multiverse there.
So at this point, Peter is he's probably not putting Jonathan on any Rix's Delver deck, because by then he would have played a threat.
Yeah.
Because Volcanic Island, Misty Rainforest, and Island, that could represent a lot of decks, but with no plays at all, that could not mean much else. Fetching another Volcanic Island. So now Peter should know that there's no black, there's no green in Jonathan's deck, in straight red-blue. Red-blue usually means Sneak and Show. Impulse at the end of turn. Looking to get maybe a Cunning Wish.
Impulse here for Angelescu. Interesting. You know what it was originally printed on Impulse. You look at the top 4, pick one, put them on the bottom of your library, and then shuffle your library.
Oh, it was.
I
think it was. Yeah,
that's what was printed on the original Impulse. Obviously, errated off it, and newer printings of Impulse don't have it on there. But yeah, pretty funny. If you go to all the effort of putting it under your library, only then to shuffle.
Put them in the 7th, 8th, and 24th.
Yeah. Position,
and then shuffle.
Yeah. So now, Peter White continuing to develop his mana here, and we're going to see, off a basic island, it's going to be a brainstorm.
If there was a little tiny bit of doubt in Peter's mind that Jonathan was not on Sneak and Show, now it's long gone with the Ancient Tomb in play.
Yeah, Ancient Tomb certainly giving the game away there. Ancient Tomb, a card that we see in a lot of decks that are looking to cheat out those 3 drops a turn ahead of time. Mono Red Prison, another deck that has done well this weekend in the hands of Gary Campbell. Let's have a look now what's up with Peter White's next turn.
There's a really, really interesting card in Peter White's hand to beat show and tell.
Okay.
So if Jonathan plays show and tell and sneak an Emrakul into play,
White has the answer.
he has Detention Sphere.
Detention Sphere is going to take care of it real nice.
Yep.
Because even though Emrakul has protection from colored spells, doesn't have protection from the abilities triggered by colored permanents. Or permanents of any kind. So let's have a look now. Angelescu's next turn. And see what's up with what he can get going here.
Counterbalance, a little less powerful without Sensei's Divining Top. But still an annoyance for any combo deck that needs to make sure their threat hits the board. Fetch and end of turn. So Peter does not have control over the top of his library either. In passing turn with 4 mana. Cunning Wish. Into the through the breach is going to nicely play around the Detention Sphere, and also he can do that at the end of Peter White's turn. So he get a chance to, for example, play a sneak attack, show and tell on his turn. To make sure Nemorco is in play on his turn.
Angelescu now. Angelescu now.
So my guess is that he's going to pass and play Through the Breach at the end of Peter White's turn. Through the Breach says, put a creature card from your hand into play and sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step.
Mm-hmm.
So if he plays at the end of Peter White's turn, the creature will remain on the battlefield until the end of their turn.
Yeah, you can play it in an end step, and then it goes away at the beginning of the next end step.
Historically, this has been a tough matchup for Miracles, because it's hard for Miracles to have a threat on the board and put pressure on the Sneak and Show player.
Yeah, and even through the Sneak and Show player can win through multiple terminuses, and has many ways to. Yeah, they don't just fold. After the first sweeper.
It doesn't take a lot from Sneak and Show to win the game, and they're just looking for this tiny window when there's not going to be a counter, there's not going to be a terminus up.
Let's try to make hay while the sun shines here. Angelescu is biding his time. A lot of lands in play, especially for a match of Legacy here. He plays another fetch.
All right, and he drew an Omniscience. I like Omniscience.
Omniscience?
I like Omniscience.
Omniscience. It's an omniscience here. Show and tell. And we're going to see now a brainstorm.
And we know he has a 3-drop in hand,
so he can put a Detention Sphere on the top here, and to counter this, the Sneak and Show with the counterbalance.
That's a lot of business here. 2 Forces of Will.
Yeah, I like Forces of Will. I think it is Force of Wills though.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about just the card Force of Will.
2 cards with the name Force of Will on it.
2 copies of Force of Will.
Yeah.
There you go.
2 copies.
We solved it. Monastery Mentor revealed off the top, obviously looking to hide that Detention Sphere, the knowledge of that from Angelescu, which counters the show and tell easily with counterbalance.
And with Snapcaster Mage in play, that's the pressure.
That's the clock.
That's the clock. He needed the clock, and that's the clock he has.
So let's have a look now and see what Angelescu can do. Because, I mean, he needs some way to contest this. I mean, it doesn't look like much, right? It's a pretty anemic deep beatdown plan, but it's going to work because White does have the game, well, not locked up, but certainly is just...
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder now.
He's making it hard for Angelescu to really get in the game.
Usually it's the other way around. Like, the more the game lasts without a threat on the board, the more the more the sneak and show deck has the advantage. But now Peter White's found all the answers right away, so it's
oh no!
So it's gonna be really hard for Jonathan.
Oh no!
To come back in this one, and also Peter has, as we mentioned, 2 Force of Will cards in his hand.
So Force of Will pitching Omniscience here for Angelescu, but we know that White has the response and a Spell Pierce, Raph. When you've got 7 lands in play, 2 of which are Ancient Tomb, and you're getting Spell Pierced?
Stings.
Oh, no. Oh, bloody no.
White knows that one of these 2 cards is an Emrakul.
So Angelescu is not looking good here now, with White continuing to press the advantage. Counterspell after counterspell just ruining his day. So let's see if White has another way to turn the screws here. Jace the Mind Sculptor certainly is that. 4 mana for the powerful Planeswalker, and White immediately draws 3 cards thanks to the Brainstorm ability of old JTMS.
Oh no, he put one of the Force of Wills was on top of his deck.
Oh.
He only had the one. He only had 2 counters back up.
So hang on, what? He could have just revealed the Force of Will to the counterbalance then?
No, the first card was a Mentor.
Oh, it wasn't exactly on top, I see. It was one of the top cards, all right.
So what he could have done, there was one option. He had mana up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he could. Did he have mana up last turn? Well, if he had mana up, I don't remember if he had mana up. He could have predicted his opponent to anything, like for Black Lotus.
Yep.
Any card.
Subhaitian Impose Volume 7.
Jarkel, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He could have drawn the Mentor, and on top was the Force of Will.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would have revealed the Force of Will.
Yep. That would have been another way. Another little stopgap there. Another little safety valve.
Usually you predict yourself. Because you know the card on top.
Because you've looked.
Yeah. Or you portent your opponent. If you portented your opponent, then you would have, you could mill your opponent. But if you look and you know the card, you want to draw 2 cards.
Just predict.
Yeah. Just predict your opponent, draw the Mentor, and then the top card is. But you have to miss, otherwise you draw 2 cards.
And then it's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to name something that's not in their deck.
That you know it's not in their deck.
Yeah. Goblin Balloon Brigade.
I don't actually think you can name a card that's not in the format.
And Omniscience gets Spell Pierced here, which is a little bit more forgiving, even though that Angelescu had all those lands in play. It's difficult to resolve a 10-drop at the best of times, and so he goes down in flames, and Peter White picks up game number 1. That counter magic too much for Angelescu to overcome. We'll see if he can do any better in game number 2 here, kicking things off with a Ponder off his Volk, and see if he can sculpt the hand that he needs to try to get a foot in the door here, because Peter White certainly put on a masterclass display there.
Is the good
Miracles
thing to
controlling the deck from the very beginning.
Is it a good thing to have?
Good thing to have a foot in the door. Yep.
Sounds pretty bad though.
I mean, it depends on what the door's doing. If the door's being slammed repeatedly on your foot, then it's not always great. And here's a turn up for the books. Look at this, Peter White, Delver of Secrets. All right.
That's
all of a sudden we're playing Blue-White Delver. Oh, hang on, just getting a phone call. Hello? Yes, this is Riley. Sure. Okay, I'll let them know. It was just 2012. They want their deck back.
all right. We're gonna see a Gaze of Century. Maybe a
resto.
What's the name of the equipment? The pike.
Runechanter's Pike.
Yeah, Runechanter's pike.
Equipped to Restoration Angel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maul and Hort making little 1/1s. I don't know if Peter White's gone that deep, but he certainly is boarding into this Delver plan. Wow. I mean, we used to see the transitional plan here that would involve bringing in things like Monastery Mentor out of the board of the old Miracles decks.
I like having some pressure on the board before you counter everything. So Delver might just be the threat the Miracle player wanted. So I think Jonathan mulligan at least once in that game. We didn't see that because there was Time Walk Magic
with the magic of video editing.
Yeah, it's like they mulligan at the speed of light.
So Delver of Secrets didn't flip, never lucky, and Peter White facing off against Angelescu, who is now having to find an answer to this little walking man.
Well, not yet. He has some time.
Pretty good threat, though, really. Not what you expect out of a Miracles deck post board.
Boseiju.
Oh, yes.
Very good answer to all the counter spells.
Shelters all. Doesn't discriminate.
No, everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah. Could be a dog. It could be a fox.
Could be a pair of pants.
Yeah, shelter all.
Could be a tennis racket. It's not Boseiju who selectively shelters some. Maybe that was the working title of the card. But probably didn't fit in the text box.
Yeah, a little too long. 3 mana. The spell cannot be countered.
And show and tell here.
Containment Priest.
Containment Priest.
So it cannot be. If he has sneak attack, that would still work, right?
Yeah, that would still work. Containment Priest just says that if a creature were to enter the battlefield, a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't put it in with the show and tell. It doesn't work. You have to put it in response to the show and tell.
But then sneak attack would be in play, but then he would not be able to
sneak anything in.
Yeah.
But he'd get that sneak attack in play.
That's good.
That's something.
Does he have any way to deal with the Containment Priest? What do you have? Oh, Brainstorm. All right. A Daze on the Brainstorm. Just an extra land. Showing an extra Tundra, just for value. And the sneak attack is just there doing
very little.
Just watching the dragon asleep.
And that's a single copy of a Containment Priest in Peter White's sideboard there. So
how many do you need?
Just the one. Don't need
one.
2. But it doesn't look like that dragon's going to wake up anytime soon.
And the Disenchant in Peter White's.
Oh, yeah. So these players, we've sped up this recording now a little bit because we do have pairings going up for round number 13. So that'll be coming your way very shortly. And a Disenchant flipping the Insectile to Insectile Aberration, getting in for 5, and also with the onboard answer now to the sneak attack. And things not looking good for our hero on the left. Is going to be the 2-0 clean sweep here for Peter White.
Yeah, that version of Miracles does not seem as...
Oh, and in the upkeep and the draw step even, a surgical extraction on the show and tell, I would say.
Yeah, this version of Miracles is not that weak against show and tell.
No, it seems pretty good against it.
No, the
things pretty good.
Things have changed since 2012 for this matchup.
Oh dear. So Angelescu needs an answer to the Containment Priest, which, I mean, he's not going to be flush with, to be honest, this deck. It's it's a combo deck. It's not playing a huge amount of interaction.
Yeah, you can shuffle. Doesn't matter. What ifs.
And now, as a result, all of these show and tells exiled. We're going to see the Flooded Strand cracked as well. Save a shuffle there.
You can keep your sneak attack in play as well. I don't mind.
And White not even going after the sneak attack with his Disenchant. I mean, he's got a V-click. Angelescu is just dead 6 ways from Sunday here. White can even flash in the V-click. Here's another show and tell. Oh, sorry, another sneak attack. A Vendilion click will attack for lethal next turn. Yep. Angelescu has got very little to say about it. Has to extend the hand, and that is enough here for Peter White to take the game and indeed the match 2-0 for Peter White there. A tidy victory. And, wow, Miracles just really ran roughshod over Sneak and Show. They're not exactly what we expected.
It's more like, it's called Miracles, but it's like white blue control.
Yeah, white blue beatdown. No, white blue stompy, man.
Game 1 is more, game 1 is but white blue control.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2 is more, aggro.
Get in their face, that's it. Well, there we go. Speaking of getting in your face, you know who's going to be doing that next? Tim and Simon. Tim Willoughby, Simon Gertson will be subbing in for the two of us here. We're going to take a break. And on the other side of this, my friends, we're getting closer and closer to that top 8 here. So stick around and watch more of MTG Red Zone. We'll see you soon.